Mellissa, Seaman, welcome to the Workplay Podcast.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
You go way back in the Workplay method, so I'm so excited to deep dive into all the evolutions that you have. But before we get into that, what is your business and how long have you been in business?
Oh, okay. So my business is called Channel Your Genius, and I work with professional wise women. So that's women who have been in the professional corporate world, and at some point they wake up to their wisdom. Often it's in midlife, wink, wink, and they're ready to do their expertise business, their deep, intuitive, creative stuff. And so, yeah, I've got a business school for them. I coach them. I coach executives in intuitive intelligence.
And how long have you been in this realm?
Since 2000. So I've been in business for like 23 years, doing intuitive readings, teaching people intuitive intelligence, and then bridging more into the business world, which of course was my origin as a business lawyer. So,
Ooh, so
yeah, it's
good.
been a minute.
I know it really has, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means you have a lot of knowledge. How have you seen online business change over all of these years that you've been in it?
Online business, the big thing that I've seen change with online business is people no longer trust anything. So the levels of skepticism, cynicism, avoidance, dissonance, all of that stuff is way up. And so our job to gain the trust of our people is harder than it's ever been. And to hold the trust and to develop the trust over time, like a real relationship, that's become more key than ever, which I love, honestly.
Yeah, it kind of creates a deeper connection with the people that do really trust you.
And it requires us as business owners to go deeper than ever. And I'm a pretty deep chick, as are you, I noticed. And we're interested in what's underneath and what matters. And the good news is, those of us who have businesses that really matter to us and to other people, touching on subjects and important transformations in people's lives, we have more of an opportunity than ever to earn trust, gain trust, hold trust in a world where trust has become a very rare thing.
I have to ask you, because you've been in the method for so long, how do you think the method aids in that trust that you are needing to create with your people?
It's instrumental. So the workplay method has become instrumental in creating that first flash of trust with a new lead, and also in developing trust over time with my clients, because it's not just about an image. It's not just about a flashy, cool image to look pretty, to look perfect. No, it's about the message. And when the images focus on the message, which is, I think, what you do better than anybody when you work with the workplay method, is then the client is falling in love, not just with your pretty image, but actually with the deeper message of your work. And that has legs, that has sustainable, ongoing connectivity with your potential and future clients.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to create this podcast. So you can really deep dive into how this has helped people. Because to be honest, if we were to say that, in our messaging, it would be hard to convey that.
Yeah.
So how, you know what I mean? It's a big concept, right? Until you experience it.
Totally.
So you've been doing this for years and years, like way back before the method is even what it is now.
No, it's so great.
It's been a long time. Why did you initially invest in your visual marketing? Like, what was the thought process there?
I've always felt that more can be conveyed in terms of meaning and trust and relatability through image when it's well crafted, when it's well contained, when it's well planned, when it's well strategized, than it can in many words. Especially now, we're just flooded with words, and half of them, or more than half, are fake. So there's something real about the image when the image is authentic and connected with the message. that instead of the words, it's about your transmission. It's about the transmission, the energy of me, of my work, of my land, of my approach. The transmission comes through the images with workplay in particular.
Yeah. Yeah. We just actually had a member on, Kate Northrup, on the podcast, who talked about how 10% of communication is verbal,
Is
and the
verbal.
rest is all visual. And so
Right.
you really can't ignore this huge thing. And I feel that a lot of people do because of certain things like price point. They don't have the funds to be able to create a visual marketing
Yeah.
strategy, which
Yeah.
trying to alleviate for a lot of business owners right now. So
Totally. Yeah.
if we go back to that first shoot, what was the difference between the content that was created on that day
Yeah.
than like your typical shoot that you did in your business before? Because you had done photo shoots. You're like
Oh
a
my gosh, so many photo shoots. Like photo shoots in front of the Eiffel Tower, photo shoots on the beach, photo shoots. Like I had done so many photo shoots, and I'm photogenic, so I love photo shoots in that respect. Yee. But just looking good in front of the camera is not attractive for my clients. I mean, it is. It's great. Oh, look, she looks good in front of the camera. Whatever. But what really matters is even with that very first shoot with workplay branding, the message beamed out of these images, not just my pretty face, but the meaning, the whole experience. And one thing that was really different working with workplay branding is that right from the beginning, strategy was involved. Strategy, what is this message that we're trying to convey? What is the product that you're currently launching? What is the energy that you want to show people that you have? And so every shot was crafted. Every shot had meaning. Stuff is happening that my photographer is doing that I'm not even aware of, that they're actually capturing more about my message in that frame than I even need to be thinking about. And that is the huge difference with workplay branding. It's night and day. And it draws more new leads so much better than just having a pretty picture of myself.
A lot of times you're being forced to show this shiny version of
Yeah.
yourself. And in this process, it's like, no, we want to show who you are.
Yeah.
Which I think is way more powerful.
And way more beautiful, honestly. Like that's one
Mm.
thing. So I work with a lot of women in middle age, women working through menopause, and my clients are right in the middle of this, confrontation with the standards of beauty that we hold in the American modern culture. And so we're just like, some women are coming out into the world as experts at just the time where they feel like they're not looking as good as they did 10 or 20 years ago. And therefore maybe they should hide and not be in front of the camera. And so for me, I didn't want some photographer who's going to touch up my wrinkles or make me look like I'm not 54. I'm 54. I support women in their 50s, 60s, 70s. And what I needed was images that capture the deeper essence, my wisdom, my beauty, with the wrinkles, with everything I've got going on, lifting all of that up. And those are the images that of authentic beauty, of this deep inner radiance of me, especially when I'm in my work, that's what attracts my clients. It's nobody cares, honestly, what Mellissa looks like. I mean, that's the truth of it. Nobody cares. They want the product. They want the service that I'm selling. So how can the image of me in my spaces show them honestly what they're going to get when they work with me? Because that's the only thing that matters. That's the only message that matters. And the image has to capture that. And I feel like workplay branding is the only image creation / photographer / la I've ever worked with that actually really gets that. It's about capturing the energy and the image of what my client's going to receive. That's the only thing that matters in business. And so therefore, those are the only images that matter. in business.
Wow, that's really powerful.
It
You
really
talk.
is, honestly. Image is it's a big deal. Not just to us menopausal women, but I think to everyone, and probably more so for women, I'm guessing. I don't know, but guys have their own things. But to be in front of a camera is scary for most of us. It's to be caught in front of a lens without all that glitzy, glamoury hoo-ha can be actually terrifying. And that's the other part about working with workplace branding that has been so wonderful is it's a co-creation. The atmosphere is playful and uplifting. It's not like, oh, hold right there, don't move. Like, it's not this terrifying, bright light in your face. um get your eyebrows perfect experience. It's like, just be yourself, relax into your space, be in spaces you love. It's so much more about that upwelling of your own energy, of your own radiance from the inside. And that, I mean, it's night and day difference. I'm trying to find words for it, but really it kind of has to be experienced at some level.
You talk a lot about how the workplay method has been a magic mirror in
Yes.
your life, in your business. And I want to go into a story about how that frame of mind that you've really taught me how this method has
Mm.
been portrayed for you has impacted someone else. But first, could you explain to us what is the magic mirror and how is the workplace method a magic mirror to you?
The magic mirror begins as soon as I start to co-create the plan, the content plan for the shoot. And I start to consider, like, okay, what's important now? What's important now for my clients? What do they need inspiration around? What are we as a company about to be offering? What's true for me in my own development in life? What's new? And that's what, the magic mirror comes up every 3 months with workplace branding. And so it's a constant call to renewal. So really reflecting what's current, what's needed now, what does my client need to see? And then being in the shoot is like a magic mirror because I feel gorgeous every time I'm in a workplace shoot. There's something magical that happens. There's some kind of magic bubble that comes around us, and we're cranking through outfits and scenes, but there's like a grace to it. And I know that's just part of the method, but it feels quite magical. And then the big magic mirror is when the images come back and I'm revealed to myself. Looking at those images, hundreds of images, whereas most photographers give you like 20, but in this, you're like looking through hundreds of images. They're all so different and they're all capturing essences of me and my business. It's very vulnerable. It's magical. It's like this, like when I see that the images are back, I have to go make a cup of tea and sit down and light a candle, take some deep breaths and be like, okay, am I ready to see myself? It is a profound personal development experience. It's like therapy that is bonus to the process, because as I open those up, I see my beauty revealed, not in the perfection of eyebrows, although my eyebrows are looking particularly nice today, but like not just in the eyebrows, but like in the energy, which is captured in these images, in the message of my business. It's almost like the soul of my business is being revealed to me in the images when they come back. And I tell you what, that's profound. It's profound. And it's like a call to action, also a call to upgrade. I see those images and I'm like, this is what I'm growing into. And then I have something to step into in my life that's reflecting back at me from all my social media channels every day. I'm like, yeah, that is me. That's what I'm living into that. And so every quarter with every shoot, I'm stepping into this magic mirror. It's not just a reflection, but it's actually an invitation and a calling. And I'm stepping into it with my clients. So it's really connective. It's quite magical.
As soon as you told me that, I was like, that's it. That's the
That's it.
magic of this process.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting at a retreat in Tuscany, Italy, and it was all of these really powerful women in business. I mean, one of the
Mm-hmm.
girls there had just launched her book, and it just hit like #1 bestseller on Amazon while we were there. Like that was the level of
Yeah.
company that everyone was keeping.
Yeah.
And Workplay Branding was there to do content for each of these women. Workplay Branding gets to the breakfast table, and we're all like brainstorming like what each of their mini brand shoots is going to be about. And we get to one girl, and she just starts sobbing.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't think I can perform today. Like, usually I'm ready to go. I've done photo shoots before. And she's like, I just don't feel like that shiny performing version of myself. And I told her exactly what you have taught me that this method does for people. I said, you're not performing today.
No.
What is happening today is we are capturing your essence of
Mm-hmm.
this new version of yourself that
That's
you
right.
have just transformed during this retreat. And we're going to capture that. And it was like a switch went off in her, and she just let that guard down. It was transformational for her
Wow.
to
Full.
be able to see herself in that
Yeah.
process. But I have to thank you for giving me that almost like way of articulating it, because
Mm,
it is now helping so many people move past that
good.
idea that they do have to perform in front of a camera, and it
Yeah.
can be more about your essence.
I think there's something when the lens is on us and there's an invitation, there's a potential for amplifying the essence inside of yourself without performing.
Yep.
And I think that's, if there's anything that we learn as members of the workplay method, it's how to allow that essence to amplify and to really share ourselves through our eyes without performing, without having to look great, just being like even more ourselves. And I think that's what helps those images become this profound magic mirror of your true self. When, yeah, you let there's more of you there because there's an invitation and there's space for it and there's playfulness. And yeah, there's strategy, but you don't have to track it, because your content creator's tracking it for you, just to amplify your own self without going into performance mode. Oh, just this side. This is my good side. This is my bad side. Who cares?
Yep.
It's so freeing. It's so lovely. It is playing dress up. I mean, dressing up is really fun. It's definitely playing dress up, but it's not hiding behind a mask, and it's not going perfectionist. It's amplifying who you really are.
Oh, how do you prep for something like this? Like, how do you personally prep for this? What does that week look like? What does that day before look like?
Yeah, when I prep for a workplace shoot, um, the first thing I do is think about the message. What message am I needing to bring through for my people now? And then the next thing I do is I just resource myself. I get a massage. Of course, I like make sure my hair looks good and all that external stuff. But even that process feels like an internal readying of just really soothing myself, amplifying my own self. And then, of course, there's some thought to like, where are we going to be and what are we going to wear and all that stuff. And, I have if you want to get granular, I put my outfits together. I usually call my daughter, Clarice Seaman, who is is an amazing stylist. She comes over and helps me put the outfits together with the jewelry, with the whole thing. We try it all on, we take a picture, and I just, to make sure that every outfit says what I want it to say. And I put it all on one hanger, and it's just like ready to go, tagged and prepared. And then with all the outfits set up, I'll also usually put a big box in the back of my car where I can throw stuff. So if we're going to go out, and take shots on the road, I have a system for that. Other than that, like I don't feel like I have to prepare a lot of system stuff, because the content creator is doing a lot of that for me, I mostly just show up rested and ready and prepared with my outfits so that we can have a great day.
That's so good. I love hearing people's tips and tricks because everyone has their own systems around it. So it's always great to see what everyone
Yeah,
else's is.
totally. Totally.
Why do you think it is worth it to do this 4 times a year rather than the traditional model of like once
Yeah.
every 2 years?
You're changing all the time, and there's a freshness to your energy that keeps shifting, and that magic mirror aspect of seeing this next version of yourself, the more you do it, the more you grow. It's really powerful. Plus, having all that fresh content really makes it fun for your followers to tune in and see what's new, to follow what the new services or upgrades in your product line are. It's so fun to keep it fresh. And honestly, it's just so dang fun. Do it as often as possible.
I agree. I totally agree. I always say that photo shooting is like self-care. At
Totally.
least for me. If you could give workplay members one piece of advice for going through this process, what would it be?
My one piece of advice going through workplay is be yourself. You don't have to be somebody else. You don't need to look perfect. You don't need to have anything except your energy amplified. Just like your playfulness, your freakiness, your silliness, your depth, all of it. Bring all of it to your shoot. Bring all of it and let your content creator amplify it.
Oh my goodness. The best advice. You're always good at that. Where can everyone find you, the work that you do, and see all of the beautiful content that you've made?
Oh, you have to come and take my quiz. It's at soulgiftquiz.com, SOUL giftquiz.com. And learning which of the 5 soul gift types you are will actually give you hints as to how to show up in your branding as well.
Oh, so good. So good. Thank you so much, Mellissa.
My pleasure, love.